Up, everybody.
No,
Testing 1, 2. Okay, you don't need that. Well, that concludes our first round of the regular season. I hope everybody had a good time because everybody came out, put it on the line. It's funny enough, Jason and I kind of jinxed it a little bit because we said that we probably have about 8 to 10 finishes tonight, and we ended up with 5. Hey. Okay, 5 is still good. Yeah, there were some good highlights. Sean Jordan came in. Jordan Johnson came in tonight and with an undefeated record and fought one of our fighters, and kind of just shows where we are in the market, who we are as the fighters that we have in the league. He was an undefeated fighter and lost him on a split decision. I thought the decision could have gone either way. It was a close fight, but congratulations to Maxim who won that fight. But yeah, now Jordan's going to come back in this second regular season fight and really battle hard to get to the playoffs, because now he's got to really earn points to get there. And we ended up with 5 finishes tonight, and I thought. Listen, I was sitting there hoping that we would get 5 finishes at least. Peter and I were then looking at each other going, these guys got to come out and finish. And they did. So it was good to see the last few fights, guys put it on the line and walk away with some high points and also some finishes. So it was great. Now we're looking forward to the second round of the regular season in Atlantic City. And I hope you guys had a good night tonight.
Right, last fight tonight, Emiliano Sardi looked unbeatable, unstoppable.
Right.
What's your assessment of this fight tonight?
Yeah, no, you know what? I think he took a page of Sean O'Connor's last fight with Minnie, because that it almost looked like that was a replay. He came out, hurt him, and then just kept it standing. And every time Vinny was trying to get him to the ground, he was able to defend and get back to his feet and pick them apart. And so I think the stoppage was warranted because Vinny was taking a lot of shots. I mean, he was getting batted around the cage somewhat. So, but yeah, no, Sordi, I thought he fought well. It looked great. So we were glad to have him back, because going through the season and going through the lineup at first, he was actually at that end of the lineup, and trying to think of who fell out, but that person fell out, and Sordi actually got the opportunity to take that spot. So I'm sure he's happy with his performance tonight, and so are we.
Ray, why was Sordi towards the end of the list? Are you surprised by his potential to beat the runner-up from last season?
We just had, had some really good names and talent. We needed also a couple of guys. We had a Mexican fighter that, unfortunately some things didn't happen for him to, to fulfill that. So Sordi ended up back in the roster. But listen, we got to see him tonight, and I thought he looked amazing. And he basically came out and made a statement. Yeah. That he went up against the runner-up for the 2018 season championship, and he's, I'm sure he said to himself, no, I'm going to go out there and show them that I belong here, and he did that. So we were happy with that.
What did you think of Nicholson and Barroso? How did you score that fight?
It was a very close fight. I thought the decision was correct, but it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. You know what I mean? So again, that was a barn burner where it was just. I thought the fight was back and forth right throughout the fight. So it didn't surprise me, because I thought anybody could have. It was such a close fight that either guy could have won the fight. You know what I mean? So.
Any word on their updates on their injuries? I know.
Alex said to me that he broke his rib in the first round, and I told him it's not broken because he was talking fine, he was bending over. I've broken a few ribs in my day as well, and guys normally can't be standing there bending over when you have a broken rib. You know what I mean? So, and fortunately for him, he went to the hospital and got it checked out, and it came out he's cleared, he's good. It's probably just badly bruised.
Ray, you've gone through the first round of the regular season. Give us 3 or 4 fighters of all 3 events that kind of impress you the most.
Gee, you're putting me on the spot now. First was the welterweights and females. I thought Ray Cooper, you know, again came out and did his thing. Sadabusi, when we told him that we weren't going to have the middleweight division, I thought he was going to go to 205. And then he said, no, he's going down to 170. So my next question was, aren't you too big for 170? But apparently he walks around at 185, 190. So, you know, and out of everybody, I thought he was going to be the concern because he is a tall guy. Man, he made weight easy. So, you know, those guys from last year, trying to think of, just, you know, my mind's so fresh with what just happened tonight. So, the lightweights, obviously Nathan, you know, came out and did his thing. The lightweights and the welterweights, Lance Palmer did his thing. Rashid Magomedov, again, looked great. So, you know, some of the guys that from last year's season, and I think, you know, it's almost like when I competed in K1 where, you know, the top 8 guys knew we wanted to show the newcomers that they belonged, that we belonged. And so I think that's what happened in the beginning of the season, where the regular season, most of the guys that came back from last year, you know, came out on top in winning their fights. And so I think that's kind of like the attitude now. You know, we're the gatekeepers, and you guys gonna have to earn that spot, you know, to go forward.
Thoughts on the Kevin Tiller fight, especially with the Kimura? What was your reaction to that?
Listen, Kevin always surprises me. I thought that fight was gonna be, you know, a slugfest. Knowing that, now I gotta say that Pete put me on the spot, and he says, you know, you gotta pick one. I'm going with Tiller. I said, oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go with the other, with Mohammed. And Pete was right. But yeah, you know, it just goes to show that Tiller's got all these skills. Matter of fact, Jason also picked Tiller to win that fight. I now would never ever go against Tiller anymore because he's showing that not only he can knock you out, he can also submit you. You know what I mean? But no, it just goes to show that he's a guy that with a lot of talent. And one of the things I did tell Tiller last year was I wanted him to come, you know, come a little bit lighter. And this year he jumped on the scale and made way easy. And so I think that also, the other thing that I liked about his fight tonight was that he was very composed. Mohammed was on the move, stick and move, but you could see on Tiller's face he was very composed in what he was doing. And it was just a matter of time. Once it hit the floor, you know, again, I thought there was going to be a knockout, but hey, Tiller proved me, showed something else. I was very lucky that he's still in the season because of Singy. If Singy didn't decide to fight, he would have been out already.
So they both go home with 2 paychecks.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what PFL does. We look after our fighters, you know, and so you know, we've started saying that we're fighters first, and we're going to make sure that we'll continue to do that.
Can you give your thoughts on Zeke's performance, a 3-1 fighter getting Satoshi Ishii run for his money?
You know, yeah, absolutely. I was very impressed with Zeke tonight. I think he kind of got a little bit tired towards the last round, but up to that point, I was very impressed. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. You know, when you compare the experiences and what he did, I mean, Satoshi could barely take him down in the first 2 rounds, and so no, I was very pleased that I think Zeke's got a big future.
Ray, you just mentioned that if Torres didn't fight tonight, Mark's didn't fight tonight, he'd be out.
Correct.
Last event, you had 3 fighters: Torres, De Almeida, and Becerra didn't fight, didn't make weight. Are they out?
Say that again?
The last event. You had 3 fighters who
Yes,
didn't make weight. You're kicking them out?
I don't know if we've released that card yet, but Torres definitely out. Who was the other one?
De Almeida and Becerra.
Well, Almeida actually, see, Torres was out due to other reasons, and to what you call again, HIPAA law. Obviously, I can't go into that, but he's out because of that. Almeida only missed by 1 point, by 1 pound. So, you know, and because he's been with us, he was with us last year, never missed weight. He was always, you know, a professional. So, listen, we're willing to forgive certain things, but when you come in at 6 pounds over, you know what I mean? Fortunately for Marks as well, that the commission allowed him to fight, because I think in New York, in the commission in New York City, is if you're 10 pounds over the weight limit, you wouldn't be. They wouldn't allow you to fight. So he was he was lucky that both those scenarios played out for him, which commission allowed for him to fight, and Singy also wanted the extra points.
Right. Can you talk a little bit more about Satoshi Ishii? What did you see him from tonight?
Listen, Satoshi Ishii is a veteran. I mean, like, he's been around. You know, he's fought some of the best of the best, and so I was, again, it wasn't. Listen, Satoshi fought a great fight, and you know, he won the fight. But I think, given Zeke's performance, it kind of like highlighted that fight, which was great. And you know, again, I was happy for Satoshi that he won. But Zeke showed that that he belongs here. So that was the highlight of one of the highlights of the night for sure.
Ray, you kind of hinted that you might already have the event 5 matchups.
Correct.
Do you want to announce them now? Give some nuggets.
Well, I actually thought that I thought we had announced it already, but obviously not. So I'm not going to jump the gun, because otherwise the digital team's going to kick my backside. You know what I mean? So I don't want to jump the gun yet.
You'll get it. Don't worry.